Hi, this week's fine motor video is going to focus on putty. I was originally going to do putty and Play-Doh, but there are just too many things to talk about with putty and too many things to talk about with Play-Doh, so Play-Doh will probably be next week. The cool thing about putty is it's a little more resistive, so if we're wanting to build hand skills and strength in our little ones' hands and fingers, putty is the way to go. The downside is you really have to teach kids how to use the putty appropriately, because if they are pulling the putty apart and making it very stringy, I call those putty strings, those can get stuck in carpeting, in clothing, in hair, and things like that. So we really need to teach the kids that putty needs to stay together, kind of in one big clump, one big glob. Yes, so there are all different kinds of putty. You can buy actual TheraPutty. You can order it off of Amazon. That comes in all different resistances. You can buy all different kinds and colors of like Aaron's Thinking Putty, which is a really, to me, a really great resistance. It's not too hard and it's not too soft. Some of the therapy ones can be a little too hard, but the Aaron's Thinking Putty is good. Silly Putty is good. Any of those are great, and they last like forever. They're silicone based, so they don't dry out. And in this day and age, if we are going to use putty with the kids, we probably want each kid to have their own little container of putty. You can store it in a Ziploc bag. Actually, the container you store it in can be kind of cool to work on fine motor skills as well. You know, opening and closing the Ziploc bag, or if you have something with a screw top lid, that's amazing. So anyway, lots of great ways to store it as well. What I like to do with the kids is I created this little handout, and it's just a series of kind of like food type shapes that we go through, and I'll include this handout if you want to make some of those for the kids to follow. But it starts out with just kind of making a pancake. So I like to encourage the kids to stand up and put all their weight down through their hands and just press, 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 and maybe flip it over once or twice and press, press, press. Even taking your fingertips and pressing it down even more to strengthen those fingers. And then we move on from the pancake to the taco. So they just pick it up and they fold it into a taco. And then we move on from there to a calzone. So we're using our pinchers now, and we're pinching all around the edges of that calzone. And again, we're looking to develop that web space and just use those fingertips to pinch. Okay, it's a little tricky. And then we have our calzone, and then we go from there to the hot dog. So I always encourage kids just to kind of take that calzone and squeeze it, because when you squeeze it with your full hand like that, it gives you a nice shape to start with for your hot dog. Okay, and then roll it out. And you have to encourage the kids to push a lot of pressure down as they're rolling. And a lot of times you're gonna, if they have areas that are a lot skinnier and a lot fatter, you have to encourage them to move their hands to the part that's a little wider and move that around. And then once you get your hot dog, all those great hand skills, then we go on to the cinnamon roll. And so again, kind of using those pinchers. And this is just great for like motor planning too, and imitating a design. Great skills. Then you have your cinnamon roll, and then you end up with the pancake again. You squish that cinnamon roll back down into a pancake. Now, that is just one thing you can do with the putty, which is gonna really improve hand skills. Another thing that is really helpful is to take little objects, like letters, or like I use letters from the Bananagram game, or beads, or coins. Coins is a very good one, especially if you're working on identifying coins and things like that. But to hide those things in the putty and then have the kids really work to find them. Now, again, we have to teach them how to use it appropriately. I think I have a letter in this one. And I really try to teach them, when they find an object, use your thumbs. Use your thumbs. Your thumbs to push all of that other putty away until you get the object out, versus pulling and making it stringy. Because as you use those thumbs, you know, again, you're building all of the muscles that you need for a proper pencil grasp. So yeah, there are a lot of different things you can do with the putty that you can also do with Play-Doh. For example, if you're gonna make putty snakes, oh, I have the really resistive stuff here. It's a little tricky. But you can make the snakes and you can form letters, you know, with the snakes too. So one thing I like to do is have the kids form a C and then take another piece of putty or Play-Doh and then turn that into an O, turn it into a G, turn it into a Q, turn it into an A, so they can see that that C shape always stays constant for those letters. Anyway, I will include my little page with the food putty exercises, and that's it for today. We are going to do Play-Doh next week. Thanks. Bye.